Hello, ladies and gentlemen, dear paper makers. I would like to welcome you to my presentation within the 25th Tecnicelpa conference. My presentation is from a linear to a circular economy by giving functionality to paper and board products in production as well as in converting. My name is Ramon Rohe and I'm with OMIA International. OMIA is where life unfolds. To enhance our customers' businesses with unrivaled expertise, solid experience, and a true passion about it. We are offering environmental solutions, serving the constructions, polymers, and consumer goods market, and are a partner to the paper and board industry. We are a global producer of industrial minerals and a worldwide distributor of specialty chemicals. With a history of more than 130 years, our family-owned company is operating in more than 50 countries, and our 9,000 employees are accounting for a turnover of close to 4 billion Swiss francs. So let's have a deeper look into the global packaging market. The packaging grades do have a volume of approximately 580 million tons. The paper and board market, with its 420 million tons, is contributing with approximately 230 million tons of packaging grades. The plastics market, on the other hand, with its 407 million tons, is contributing approximately 146 million tons of plastic-based packaging materials. Glass, metal, and others are completing the packaging grade volumes. Last but not least, I would like to address approximately 3 million tons of barrier solutions, which are mainly used in fiber-based and plastic-based packaging solutions. From a revenue point of view, we are talking about 860 billion US dollars. The paper and board market, with a value of approximately 380 billion US dollars, is contributing 305 in specialty packaging grades, and the plastic markets are contributing approximately 360 billion US dollars in plastic packaging grades. Glass, metal, and others, and the barrier solutions themselves with approximately 7 billion US dollars of worth. So, what are the different drivers of the packaging market? Here, we have to address, on the one hand, the regulatory side. For example, food contact material regulations, packaging laws, etc. We have the producers, so the capability for paper and board producers, converters, and printers. The requirements coming from brand owners, for example, free of PFAS, having decent recyclability, costs, and so on. And last but not least, the demand of the consumers. For example, being convenient, bio-based, plastic-free. So, but what is the role of packaging in general? So there are different requirements to be met. So, as mentioned before, there are regulatory and legal requirements. The packaging material do have to attract and inform. The packaging material has to be fit for logistics. The packaging material has to be fit for processes, e.g. the filling process. It has to be convenient. It has to be environmentally friendly. And last but not least and foremost, it has to protect the packed goods. I would like to shed light on the 3 points: environmental friendliness, protection, and regulatory issues. Protection of food. Simplified, it can be said that the term protection can be separated to physical protection and chemical protection of the packed goods. So here hot topics are acetaldehyde, BPA, MOSH/MOA, or PFAS. For example, the use of PFAS per or polyfluorinated alkylic substances to generate oil and grease resistant paper and board products is banned in Denmark since July 2020. And on a pan-European level, there are activities to regulate the usage in general. And this is up to 2021 to 2022. Environmental impacts. The environmental impact of different packaging materials in respect of harvesting, mining, or the production of its raw materials, depletion of resources, renewability, and so on, the transport thereof, the production process, meaning the energy consumption, the creation of emissions, the usage, how attractive it is to return, the existing recycling schemes, reuse or littering, the end of use, meaning are there existing recycling schemes in place, is it a recycling or a downcycling, incineration, landfilling, all those topics have to be addressed. And then there are the regulatory impacts. The regulatory and legal requirements of packaging materials have to be considered in geographical and timely terms. So as addressed before, there's the topic on MOSH-MOR. The Mineral Oil Ordinance in Germany is still pending, but is going to affect the market environment. The PFAS with its national or local bans, the Single-Use Plastic Directive, meaning the restriction on the marketing of different materials, recycling schemes, meaning the fulfillment of recycling quota, and food contact or other compliances required, as for example being gene-modified free, nanomaterial topic, the BFR, FDA, GB regulation, being halal, etc. Megatrends packaging Europe. So mainly driven by the European Union, we do have the discussion on waste. Some of you know the waste hierarchy, which is clearly indicating that the least favorable option, the disposal of waste, shall be replaced step by step by the prevention of waste. So one component which is supporting this long-term goal is the Single-Use Plastic Directive. And the 3R are used in a lot of discussions amongst customers, brand owners, and other interested parties. Reduce, reuse, and recycle. So how the paper and board industry can support this goal? And this brings us to the main topic of my presentation. The use of functional barrier is going to give the paper and board industry the option to use fiber-based packaging materials with a functionality guaranteeing a recyclability and therefore being fit for applied schemes. So, how barriers are applied? So there are different technologies in place, coming from the standard extrusion or lamination of polyethylene to technologies used mainly at the converter site, meaning printing by means of roto or flexo, to the classical application methods used and known to the paper and board industry, like metering size press, blade, rod, or curtain coating, completed by other technologies like dipping, pond sizing, or spraying. So the solutions in place can be non-recyclable or recyclable, can be fossil-based or bio-based. So coming from the polyolefins, which are non-recyclable and fossil-based, Omnia introduced the Extamine portfolio, giving the industry the option to go for a polymer-based barrier functionality on top of fiber-based products. Having learned that a lot of potential customers of ours were asking not only for fully recyclable solutions, but also for bio-based ones, we introduced the Earth portfolio by the acquired company Solar Inks. Today, Omnia offers the Extermine product family as well as the bio-based Earth product family. Depending on the specific needs the barrier has to fulfill, a single solution or a combination thereof is meeting the requirements of our customers. For example, the Extermine M, a functional barrier to protect packed foodstuff from the migration of harmful substances like saturated or aromatic hydrocarbons. This gives the paper and board producer the option to use also recycled fibers for direct food contact applications, or the use of a functional barrier for virgin fibers, avoiding the migration from secondary packaging or the environment itself. Another example is for the application of food wrappers. Here I would like to address the EarthGuard SPE, a bio-based barrier solution for food wrapping applications, giving the right barrier solution to give an oil and grease resistancy, especially to lightweight packaging applications. And last but not least, for cupstock applications, the Extermine S family. Here, with this functional barrier, the replacement of PE in food stock cup applications is given and offers opportunities for the paper and board industry, and a solution which is welcome by the brand owners and consumers. Herewith, I would like to end my presentation, and I would like to thank you for your interest, and I'm open for further discussions on these topics. Thank you and obrigado.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today I will give you a short brief how data helps us to find the reasons for web breaks and increase efficiency on your production line. In this presentation I will go through what kind of web break solutions we have, and in the end we will show you a demo and a reference case from web break anomaly detector. As we have tried to solve web breaks for decades on paper machines, some of us has succeed better and learn by doing. The process experts are very busy in their daily operations, so they don't have time to focus on details. They make conclusions based on assumptions or by statistic, not by facts. Then there are people who are using my thinking and want to be heroes by solving the web breaks. This could leave even more web breaks. Nowadays there are many different equipment and measurements which are helping us to find out the root cause. Here are a few examples from the systems. Web break monitoring system to show web behavior with the camera technology before the web break. This helps us to identify the web break positions. Then there is web inspection system to see the dirtiness and holes find out relationship to the web breaks from the defects. Defects will tell us the process cleanness by showing the defects on machine and cross directions. Then sheet break logbook is a systematic way to find correlations to other web breaks, places and timings. Also, alarm from automation system gives you a hint what went wrong. Then trends will provide information about the process variable behavior. Typical these informations are in different systems and we need to go through all of them. Now we have developed application which collects all the data and raises most important anomalies from those variables which has correlations to the web breaks. The information is collected from different equipment and measurements. As we know, when there happens web break, it means lost time, no production, but still we have there the operating cost like energy, personnel, chemicals, and other costs. We can only recycle the raw material and reduce it in the production. Here is an example from the container board machine, which is 7.8 meters width, runs 1,400 meters per minute, producing 90 GSM testliner and fluting. If their profit is 100 euros per ton, per produced paper ton, and total efficiency can be increased 2%, they will earn 1 million in annual per year. Valmet Industrial Internet, together with the long-term performance development program, it is possible. Valmet is not only equipment and automation system supplier. We have over 200 process experts around the world, and we have solved 322 troubleshooting cases in year 2020. This was done by remotely. Also, 60% of commissioning professionals were supporting startups remotely. This kind of unique combination of technologies, automation and services only in Valmet. Now the focus on development new, more intelligent controls and soft sensors. As you can see, the advanced process control amount is small in paper and board machines, but pulp mills we have over 3,000 optimizers references in globally. So we know how to do it. Also in the paper and board industries. Normally after web break, we start looking out what has happened. One way is to start looking out abnormal behavior before the web break from the trends. There are a lot of places which could cause the web break. Here are a few examples from forming section, which would start looking out the root cause. In the end, there could be situation that we go through 1,000 trends before finding out the root cause. This is very time-consuming and not efficient way. Web break anomaly detector is useful application for identifying the process tags which are drifting out of the analytically defined optimal operating ranges and thus indicate web breaks. It helps to understand optimal operating range related anomalies, which increases the risk of web breaks. Optimal operating range is coming from historic data, which are related to speed, basic weight, caliper, etc. Statistically, the best anomalies will rise, and many anomalies together as anomaly index indicate the web break. History tool will help analyze the web breaks later and find the root causes together with process know-how. History tool can find recurring break reasons and statistics from the previous web breaks. Next, we will show you a demo about the history tool application.
I'm showing you the demo version of the application. In here you can see the main page of the application. On the left side you can see the break list of the selected month. So you can select desired month in top here. You can filter the breaks based on downtime type or downtime region or based on grade. As well you can filter tags based on process area, or you can highlight the tags in here. From the break list you can see the start time and the end time of the break, as well the grade which was active when the break happened. On the top you can see the tags which has had anomalous behavior before the break. By selecting one break, the application is visualizing the break on here. You can select to see 4 hour or 8 or 24 hour before the break. On left side you can see all the tag descriptions, as well the unit and the scale. The light gray area on the behind here is the upper and lower limit of the tag. So that is optimal range for that tag in that specific process state. As you can see, the limits are changing constantly because the process itself is changing a bit on the background as well. In here you can see the tag trend itself. You can see that it's turning red when it's going out of its optimal range. So when the tag is abnormal behavior in there. The blue area in here indicates that there is grade change going on. During grade change we are not measuring anomalies in the process. The pink one in here indicates pre-break section, so the time just before the web break when we are looking those abnormal behaviors. The last minute of the run is indicated in red one in here. During that time we are not interested in anomalies anymore. Going more detailed to this specific break, we can see that just before the break the wet and starch flow has risen very fastly, and when the ramp is this quick, it is most likely that it can cause web break. In here we can calculate different kind of statistic of the tags as well. We can see the covariance of the starch flow in here, and from that we also notice that the ramp is too quick for that measurement. So the ramp should be slower, and with that it might not cause a web break. This was the presentation of the demo application.
Thank you. Here we have a reference case, which is producing code white top liner. even they don't have much web breaks in this machine. But when the web break happens, it takes long time before they can produce sellable product again. The customer can see benefit from the web break anomaly detector history tool in their daily operation. It gives them a new way to analyze the web breaks and find out the root causes. The application has found already items which they have developed and reduced the web break amount 15 to 20%. The application showed the items which they have not considered before. The improvement was done using application and process expert from Valmet and the customer. As a summary, the Valmet web break anomaly detector helps you to identify the web break reasons using process expert know-how and data collected from different sources. We will provide you applications which can be used in your daily operations to use less time for the investigation and focus on the development. It gives you possible to reduce web breaks at your machine. Process stability will increase and your total efficiency. Thank you for the opportunity to introduce Valmet web break solutions.
Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to all of you.
So, hello and good afternoon to the speakers, Ramon and Jukka, and to the participants in the audience. And congratulations to your excellent presentations and for bringing to discussion such updated and interesting subjects. So our questions and answers session is now open, and I invite the participants to address your questions to our speakers. I also kindly ask you to let us know to whom they are being addressed to. So let's see. We have already here 2 questions. The first one is from Jukka. From your experience, what percentage of breaks can we reduce with a similar system like this?
You mean what kind of web breaks? We can reduce web breaks related to from the process data, which can be seen through the process data, so the variations. So meaning that if there comes some stock consistency variations or then some wet and chemistry variations, or then there is also other web breaks like edge cracks on the paper machine, which can be then
okay, Jukka, and
find out the correlation.
What are the most common causes for web breaks that you have identified in your analysis?
The most common web breaks are those web breaks which has more process variations and which is coming out from the stock preparation and causing holes, edge cracks, and black spots or white spots.
Okay, very good. Now, thank you. We have a question to Roman. Why do you think the industry is taking so much time to replace plastics, considering the great portfolio of additives already commercially available? Is it only a matter of increased cost?
I mean, it's a very relevant question, and thank you for that. I think at the end of the day, the drivers for deciding for a plastic-based packaging solution or to a fiber-based packaging solution can be many reasons. For today's possibilities in place and having an external converting facility to generate required barrier performance gives the paper industry a good chance to go to backward integrate the production in order to serve to the packaging industry a final product of the machine. Taking the costs for, let's say, a PE extruded solution in comparison to on-line machine barrier coated solution, it is sometimes difficult to say that a waterborne barrier solution is ending up as the less expensive solution. But if you can backwards integrate an external converting step, then even the cost situation could look like beneficial for this solution. And if it comes to plastic-based packaging solutions, I think there will be a big driver, not only from the regulatory point of view, but also from the consumer requirements, so that the consumer market is asking more and more for less plastic-free packaging solutions. So that even if the costs are not beneficial to a pure polymer-based solution, I think and I'm convinced that the market is ready to accept maybe even a slight increase in production costs toward a full plastic-based packaging solution.
Okay, Ramon, thank you very much. I think we have another question for Jukka. What is the recommended steps to implement this application?
That is very good question. The first step would be to start with that web break data discovery. So to identify the status at the moment. So how the mill is recording the web breaks today and what kind of web breaks there are happening. Then we can see after the data discovery has been made, then we can come up with the conclusions that what kind of next steps there will be to implement the application, or then having some other, for example, process experts to help them on the site.
Okay, Jukka, thank you. Let us see. Another question for Jukka. In some mines, all the web breaks are caused by dirty machine. You clean and clean again and never look at the data, mainly coming from blend variability. Do you think this system can deliver more data to the machine drivers and superintendents? Can you share what is happening in the mills where the system is running?
Very good question. Also, that is of course the typical reason for the web breaks is coming out when machine cleanness or housekeeping is not taking care. And for example, if we are connecting the web inspection system to also collecting the data from over there, then we can see that how much the web is getting more and more dirty and which are the limits when it will be start causing web breaks. Also, it can be collecting the data from the web monitoring system. So when the camera is looking out the web and there comes more stickies or more dirt can be seen in a camera. So then the camera will be also giving us a trend that there is changes in the picture. And
Okay,
we will
Jukka,
give
thank
them
you.
alarm.
Very good. Ramon, I have a question for you. Do you
Please.
think reuse can mean lower quality?
Pardon me,
We
I
are talking
haven't.
we are talking about circular economy. We are going to reuse. Do you think this can mean lower quality in future because of this?
Okay, I mean, this is a very general question. So if you think about the blend of fiber material which is used for recycling purposes and compare the blend of the ingredients of today with 20 years ago and think about, let's say, 5 or 10 years into the future, I'm convinced that the general fiber quality of recycling materials is going to deteriorate. This due to the fact that A, graphical papers are becoming less and less the means of communication, and B, of course, with a higher complexity of fiber-based materials and the general increasing level of polymer content in the recycling materials, mainly driven by the low amount of magazine collecting, is going to deteriorate. I think this is unavoidable. And from a stock purification point of view, the colleagues from Valmet, etc., they definitely will have a more challenging task in the future to extract and to end up the same fiber quality as by today.
Yes, because what I see as a big question mark is the contamination of inks during the reverse cycle of paper. Yeah.
Right, but here, of course, we have to differentiate between, let's say, fiber-based product which contains a thickness of 15 micron of PE in comparison to if it's designed in an ideal world to a barrier-coated paper product with technically a polymer content down to something like 5 to 8 micron to achieve the same functionality as the 15 micron of PE before. So if you make this simple calculation, replacement of PE extruded solutions in the packaging world by barrier coated solutions, and here I'm not only talking about the products of the company I'm with, but in general, would definitely help to mitigate this upcoming problem.
Okay, Ramon, I still have a couple of questions for you. Is there an optimal coating technology and an optimal substrate for your additives, Ramon?
Mm-hmm. So if it comes to waterborne barrier solutions, which are mainly based on acrylates, or if they are of bio-based nature, based of starch or starch derivatives, the key here is always to have a perfect layer, perfect film of your barrier solution. And I think this is a general statement which can be made. And for that, the paper surface should be ideally as less absorbent as possible and as smooth as possible. So if you have those prerequisitions, you can create the most efficient versions. For example, if you compare an uncoated wood-free paper stock, as for example a copy paper, in combination with a highly refined fiber product which was dried on a Yankee cylinder, you have two total different starting points to generate barrier functional fiber-based product, which can end up with twice the amount of the barrier which is necessary for the absorptive wood-free uncoated grade in comparison to the machine glazed paper grade. So the substrate is the key for creating barriers with highest efficiency.
Thank you, Ramon. I still have one question for you. That is, there is any special equipment needed for the application of these materials when compared to the actual conventional products? For example, extra drying capacity.
That's a good point. So in general, the whole product portfolio of ours is planned in a way that you have a ready-to-use solution at the paper machine. And the means of application are standard blade, rod, metering, size press, curtain coater. But we have also learned that other application technologies will work quite well as printing. And to speed up, I think you are looking at the clock here. If it comes to printing technologies.
Ramon, sorry, I was just told that we just have 1 minute to finish.
Yes,
so
I'm speeding up. So if it comes
Okay.
to drying, so typically the drying technologies applied in paper and board machines or coating machines are sufficient to dry the barriers, no problem at all. But if you switch to printing application for the barriers, for example, the paper mill is producing the substrate and the converter is printing the barrier on the surface, additional attention has to be paid on the drying technology.
Okay, gentlemen, I think we are reaching the end of this session and our time is almost running out. So I'm sure the audience has appreciated your presentations, and I hope that you have a lot of success in future, and all the best for you. And I would also like to thank Tecnicelpa for organizing this conference in these difficult pandemic times, and compliment the organization for the way that is being done. So thank you.
Also, thank you from my side very much for the invitation, for the possibility to give a speech, and for the audience, for all open questions, you can contact me by giving contact information. Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Jukka.
and also thank you from my side, and please feel to contact our persons in the countries to have more discussion about this. Thank you, and for the arrangements.
Thank you.